Not many.
Now, knowing Robbie, he'll be precise and come on exactly at 6:30, which is now.
All right, he popped up.
There you go.
Do that.
Precision.
Just need to know how to work this Zoom thing a little bit better, that's all.
Okay, are we all set? Well, you there, Tony?
I'm here. We're live streaming. We're recording. We're all set. We're good to go.
Okay, well, welcome to everybody on Wednesday's Board of Selectmen meeting on June the 26th. And Robbie and I will be sitting in tonight for Josh, who's on a quick vacation stay up in Canada, up in Quebec, and may or may not be listening in, but we'll do our best to get along. But before we begin the meeting, I'd like to extend for the Board of Selectmen its condolences to the family of Polly Bradley, who passed this past Monday. Polly was everything Nahant and everything environmental. The founder of SWIM, Safe Water Improvement Measures. Polly was a tireless, dedicated organizer, dedicated to, as the acronym suggests, keeping the oceans and rivers clean in the proper perspective. She was just a wonderful woman, and to her family, again, we extend our thanks for everything that she contributed to the town of Nahant. Tony, want to say anything, or Robbie?
Yeah, I'll jump in, Gene. I didn't know Polly well personally, but I've heard nothing but wonderful things about her and all of her efforts with SWIM, especially. Obviously, a huge issue for the town of Nahant, given our environment. And gosh, you know what a loss that is. And I once again wish her family well.
Thank you, Tony.
I also, a lot of her involvement with the town, of course, other than, attending town meetings, occurred prior to my involvement with the town. But, never, always like unbelievable positive comments about her. And I've heard nothing but, great things about her involvement with the town and her dedication to the town. And I miss seeing her at town meeting, and condolences to the family.
I was fortunate to be able to work with her for a number of years. I was on the Conservation Commission. She was on SWIM. And she was very or totally involved in the Boston Harbor cleanup and sending the piping, rather than within a short distance to Nahant, sending it out some 25 miles. And I think was recognized nationally for doing that. She was on top of her game all the time and just never stopped. So again, we say thank you, Polly, and thank you to the family. Okay, Robbie, if you would take the open comment.
Absolutely. Opening comments, good. Yep.
Oh,
thank you, Gene.
Rob, just before you go, what can I add one more thing before the opening comments on the agenda? This Saturday, June 29th at 1 p.m. at the Life Saving Station. There'll be an event with some local residents, announcing the availability of the first ever beach compatible wheelchair. This effort is in partnership with the Miles family and the town of Nahant. I believe Nahant Preservation Trust and the American Legion may have some involvement as well. And if I'm missing anyone, I know Linda Fields is involved as well. But this will be the first time that a handicap wheelchair improving ADA access to the beach will be made available for residents of the town who may want to loan it for the day and be able to access the beach. We're working out the logistics of how it will be made available. A lot of that information will be mentioned on Saturday at this event. We'll also be including that information on our website. But I want to thank the Miles family and all those that are involved for their efforts to fundraise and seek a grant through Smile Mass, which resulted in the donation of this beach wheelchair that to the town of Nahant. And so really excited about the event. As the board knows, the town applied for a CPC application of a similar nature, and we'll be working with the Miles family on additional efforts to improve ADA access at our local beaches. So it's not on the agenda tonight, but the event is scheduled for Saturday, the 29th at 1 p.m. at the Life Saving Station. So hope to see people there. And again, just want to thank the Miles family for taking the lead on this effort.
And Tony, you did say that one of those wheelchairs, the unit, will be there.
It will be there. Yep, it's in town already. So it will be there on Saturday, and I think we got some couple I's to dot, a couple T's to cross before Saturday. But I think our hope is that it will be available for use starting Saturday.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you.
Fantastic.
Mr. Thibault.
Yes, sir. Opening comments. Hazardous waste collection days, August 31st and October 12th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Lynn DPW. Certain fees apply. For a list of accepted material, cost, and more, visit the community calendar at nahant.org for more information. Metal white good TV computer recycling. Last Saturday of each month from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. behind the DPW garage, resident parking sticker required. Certain fees may apply. Visit nahant.org for a full list of accepted material. Compost area. Open on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Resident parking sticker required. Visit the Public Works page at nahant.org for a full list of accepted material. No dogs on the beach starting May 1st through September 30th each year except on Doggy Beach. Parking stickers. The 2024 resident parking stickers are now available for purchase at nahant.org. Stickers are $10 each. All outstanding bills must be paid to the town and a census completed before purchasing. Nahant Market by the Sea. Saturdays on July 20 and August 17th and September 14th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Flash Road Park. To become a vendor, visit the market page at nahant.org for application. Vacancy. The planning board currently has one vacancy on the board. Send letters of interest to K. Taylor at nahant.org by 12 p.m. July 10th.
Rob, also, those emails can be sent to planningboard@nahant.org, and we'll post it on our website and we'll post it on social media and make sure that both those emails are listed.
Hey, Tony, there was mention of Doggy Beach. Is the beach still under closure?
It is closed as of today, I have it. I was going to talk about it later on in the town administrator report.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, so next item is Emergency Management Department presentation of Hurricane Conference. And there they are.
Here we are.
All right, hold on a second.
We've never shared a screen here, so you're gonna bear with us a little bit. I'll let Carl play with that, but for those that don't know, I'm the Director of Emergency Management. I don't know what Carl's doing. We just lost you.
No, they're good.
Can
Can you see that screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Very good with screen sharing. Beautiful.
So we'll just jump right into it. The emergency management team recently attended a conference down in Florida. It's the Governor's Hurricane Conference, West Palm Beach. We essentially want to prepare the town the best we can for when we get hit by a hurricane. So we decided that who best to learn from was the professionals that deal with it far more frequently than we ever will. So we did go down to Florida for this convention. Already made some introductions. Myself, Mike Halley, Carl Macario, our local coordinators, Matt Colhoun, and some of you have met him rather. Do you want to jump in or?
Yeah, so sure. So we real short and sweet. What were some of the takeaways from the conference? One of the things that came up was memorandum of understandings. Down there, they have a lot of MOUs in place for different services. You can see the picture up here. Some of them are trailers, some of them are shelters, some are for showers, sleeping quarters, all that kind of stuff. And one of the eye openers for us down there, as the chief said, they live this down there and they've got it down to a science. And one of the other things that came up, you can see in the list, is debris management. If there is any type of destruction or damage from a storm, what do we do with the debris that we have, and what part of that debris becomes hazmat? How do you handle it? Where do you put it? What was kind of funny, but not funny, was when we talked to the National Weather Service. Actually had a booth down there, and they asked us where we were from, and we told them, and they had no idea what Nahant was. And then we showed them, and they said, "You guys are in trouble because you're not on the coast; you're out in the water." So they had a quick appreciation for what we're dealing with. And one of the things we talked about is pre-staging assets, and also what we would do if the causeway got blown out. We got a couple of quick pictures to show on that. And then, of course, the CERT down there, the Community Emergency Response Team.
What you want to? Yeah, we just recently got the ball rolling as the first CERT team in Nahant, and actually it appears as though we're the first CERT team on the North Shore. Other agencies, cities and towns, they have them on the South Shore, but they're huge down in Florida. Started out in California, which they're also huge. I want to thank Mike Halley for taking the ball and running it with the training. He's training about 15 volunteer residents, Mr. Tibble being one of them. So thank you to all those volunteers.
So again, back to the takeaway, continued. The training is crucial. Like the chief just said, we've brought the CERT team in now for a couple of trainings on basically what is a CERT team, what's expected of them, what they do, what they can't do, volunteer, and shelter operations. We've also got people on the team now. We're adding people to the team that have a medical background, nurses, doctors, because as we've said before, for those of you who have heard us at the village church or heard us at the meetings here, that if we have an issue with the causeway being closed and nobody's coming, if there's an issue here, there's going to be an issue all along the coast. So we have to be self-sustaining, and we need a force multiplier, which is why we went after the CERT more aggressively to get volunteers in place to help us out. The shelter would be a crucial part of that CERT team operation, which is the Johnson School. Over the last month, we've now moved all the emergency management supplies into the school in a dedicated area with shelving to store cots, blankets, pillows, hygiene kits,
Medical
medical
MREs.
kits, MREs, meals ready to eat. So that's going to be a crucial part for us. And again, can't emphasize enough of pre-staging assets here and then managing those assets. And also, great point when the chief had a conversation in one of the breakout sessions on how we're going to handle debris, where we're going to put it. One of the topics that we really didn't think about till we went to the conference. And the debris can be not just from hurricanes. They deal with a lot of flooding. There could be a hurricane and 20 miles away, they're dealing with flooding. So it's something we need to consider for what we would do if we had a situation like that. And just real quick, so this recently came out about a month ago that the National Weather Service issued the most aggressive hurricane season forecast ever since they started doing forecasts on hurricanes. And the more chances, it's the most aggressive in more than 30. We haven't had one here in 30 years, but the fact that the odds are this year greater than they ever have been. You can see below it says no, which is the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration is predicting an 85% chance of an above normal season. So anywhere from 17 to 25 named storms, that's hurricane. This doesn't include nor'easters and tropical storms. So these are, you can see they're nearly all double the seasonal averages. So first time ever they've come out with a hurricane like this. So this is what they're predicting. The 30-year average was 14. This year it's 17 to 25, hurricanes 8 to 13, and major hurricanes 4 to 7. Again, it doesn't include nor'easters or tropical storms. So, and for those of you who haven't seen these pictures, this is back in 2018, the aftermath, not a hurricane, but a nor'easter. And that year we had 3 of them. So no, it was in 3 weeks. And that Tony and a lot of the people in town are aware of the damage that took place, again, from a nor'easter. What's interesting about this from the aerial shot is that's Lowlands Field on the right, obviously, and Nahant Road across from Short Beach. And then if you look up to your right, you see the golf course and how far over the water stretched down to Wood Road and even down towards and it encroached upon the dump area. So which is why we've been discussing what will we do if we had some structural damages, destruction of property, and any type of debris that had to be moved. Where would we put it? How would we handle it? And you can see this is just a nor'easter, not a hurricane. So hurricane damage, we'll show you a slide in a minute. That's just Castle Road that was completely blocked, as most of you remember if you were here for that storm. And this is the Sanibel Island Causeway from 2022, blown out. One of the questions we were asked at the conference is, what do you guys do if your causeway's gone? Good question. We call Rob Thibault, he goes out in his boat and he gets us supplies. So, but that's what happened when they had the hurricane to their causeway, which has since been somewhat rebuilt. So this is a storm surge map on a Cat 2 hurricane. And you can see the, on your right-hand side, the graphics for where the major flooding, and that's about 6 to 9 feet in the red. And what you see is Little Nahant, which basically will get no water, and then the causeway will be pretty much enveloped in water. So,
Do you have a package or something with all this information you could leave at the library?
we do, and as a matter of fact, we're working on a flyer that's specifically dedicated to flooding that we will be right up front. We got from them, which is a great. It's a one-page flyer, 2 sides, how to deal with flooding. One of the other things that the chief wants to do is we spoke a few months ago at the village church on what to have in place for Nahant residents for a hurricane/storm/tropical storm kit at your house. And we did it at the village church, Gene, and we want to get that out more to the townsfolk to say, okay, if we get a storm and no one else is coming and we got to take care of ourselves, what should the residents have in their houses to prepare for a storm? And we have a comprehensive list of that.
Do you want to take that down?
Yeah.
Are there federal funds associated with this?
Gene, Mike Allen, we get every time there's several grants that we have. We got $5,000 for the team, thanks to Mariana. She's great at doing it. And every time we activate the team, we get $31 per hour per person on the team that comes back to the town.
Really? Excellent.
So my goal is to keep teaching it and run some more classes in the fall and get more people involved. It's, in my opinion, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. We're gonna get a major hurricane that's gonna affect the entire area, maybe everything east of Worcester, and we're gonna be on our own. And like I keep telling everybody, I told everybody in the team that it's not gonna be the Nahant police, the Nahant fire, DPW, or the 4 people on emergency management. It's gonna be the residents of the town, the people that are nurses, doctors, psychologists, that's gonna help save the town. I mean, we're gonna be the main first responders, but we're gonna be overwhelmed. And I always try to look at the bigger picture, what if? And that's what we do in mitigation. We talk about what if, but we always talk about these things before storms. What if this happens? What are we gonna do? You have to have things in place, and we're getting there. And I'm very happy.
This is great to be out front of it at this stage. It's awesome.
Yeah, planning, and we plan to have some tabletop exercises, and we actually had a training last night. Was it last night?
Last night.
Yeah, last night. We've been fortunate that the retired Chief Palumbo came in and did some training on basic medical stuff, and I got to give Dean credit. He said he spent 33 years of his life serving the Nahant. He wants to give back. So he's on our CERT team. He's going to help us with a lot of stuff. And he's also on emergency management now. So we're really moving in the right direction, Gene. And to your point, we're trying to get ahead of this. It's too late if we're doing this 1 or 2 days before. So one of the biggest things we have to do now is get this information out to the residents. When we were at the village church, we actually showed this is the kind of stuff you need to have in place before you can even think about coming out and helping anybody else. So
Excellent.
Yeah, we've made great progress in the past couple of years. We obviously couldn't do it without the support of the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator. So I just want to thank everybody involved. Thank you for the support. We want to continue to grow. One final statement, I'll just say happy birthday to Mr. Tibbo.
That's very kind of you. Not a birthday that I've looked forward to, but it's nice to be here.
don't cut the cake, Rob.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just offer a few words here. I think it was somewhere around 25 years ago, the town lost a couple of people off of 40 steps. And in the process of reevaluating what happened and our first responder response to it, we realized what a tremendous shortfall we had in our ability to render aid to people in the water or who were incapacitated on the rocks and cliffs in Nahant. And the ocean rescue team grew out of that. And the unfortunate thing there, obviously, is that we didn't have it available at the time. Maybe we could have done more if we had the equipment and training. But the good part was that we did recognize it, and through a lot of support from the town administrator, the new team was funded and developed through a collaboration between police and fire. And exists to this day in a far stronger capacity than ever. The point being here is that obviously being surrounded by water, we were totally unprepared. And what you guys are bringing forth to us is that we've been completely unprepared and for situations that other communities, mostly down south, have had to develop a great, tremendous strength and resources through their own CERT teams, because once the water starts, there's no stopping it, and Nahant is easily cut off. So I think the format is great as far as enlisting our town residents to become part of this. The training is not overwhelming. It's just common sense things that one should know if you're trying to render assistance to people who are having a problem. You're making connections for them to get them what they need, and also helping our first responders so that they can focus on more serious issues while the members of the CERT team are in the background, just trying to keep people safe and give them the tools they need. It's as simple as blankets or maybe water. But as residents, we can be doing that with the training and the connections that we have through this team. So again, thank you to you guys for pulling this together, and thanks to Tony Barletta for supporting it, recognizing the importance of this, and making sure that you guys have what you need to make it happen.
Thanks, Rob. I just real quick mentioning Tony and the Board of Selectmen. We've been to a lot of meetings around here, and several of the communities have asked if you guys could go over to their town and support their emergency management like we're getting supported here. So they're actually trying to get you guys to go over there because they don't get the support that we get. And I mean this sincerely. Tony's been great. The Board of Selectmen have been great. The people in the town have been very receptive to this. We had a full house again last night up here. And now the part becomes of putting the assets in place and then getting the message out to people of what we're trying to do and what they can do to help out. So, and we appreciate it greatly having you here with your experience and knowledge of the town too. So we appreciate it. We really do.
So I can add a couple words too. Tonight, this is a brief presentation on what the crew learned at this national hurricane conference, which is groundbreaking for us and our team getting that information. So I commend them for attending that and bringing that information back for the benefit of our town. This is, a very small percentage of what this crew does. They've also updated and formalized a town STEM plan, which is something that was desperately needed for our community, which lays out all the procedures of what we would go through in different types of emergencies. But every storm that we encounter, and at the beginning of every, winter season, all of us have, the moon high tide circled on our calendars. We know those are the weekends that we're going to be, up all night worried about what's going to happen with the town. And usually that's about 6, 7, or 8 dates, one a month. And in the last 5 years, I'd say maybe 1 or 2 of those dates are problematic. This past winter, almost every single one of those high tides presented a different challenge. And with every storm and every major high tide, this crew, the emergency management crew, along with members of the police, fire, harbor master, and other volunteers, they come together, a week before, 48 hours before a storm, 24 hours before a storm, and they are monitoring everything from the time that the storm is going to hit, what the tides are, what the wind direction is, what the wind speed is, what the ocean temperature is, and by doing that over the last few years, multiple times a season, it's pretty amazing. These guys can pretty much pinpoint, where our vulnerable areas are going to be for that particular storm based on those details, and which helps us procedurally plan and set up assets in the right spots, and with a decent amount of luck so far, avoid major damage and public health risks to the town. And then during storms, they open up the emergency command, the operations center, and they're manning that for hours on end. And that was that number at the end of the slide there, 7712121. And they're there to be able to help inform residents of what's happening in town. Oftentimes in these storms, we all kind of hunker down in our homes and we're seeing, maybe flooding or waves crashing or something happening in our local neighborhood, but we're not seeing what's happening on the other side of town. And, a lot of what they do is they help push that information out so people in town know what's happening across the town without having to leave their home, understand the challenges that the town is facing and the efforts that they're making to try to, deal with those challenges. So, this group and the CERT team, fill a huge gap that the town had when it comes to these storms and how we respond to them and prepare for them. The sky's the limit. There's so much more for us to do and so much more that we should do and need to do. So I thank them. I thank the CERT team. I thank the selectmen. I thank the residents of the town for supporting them at town meetings. And, we just got to continue that support and great job by them presenting what they learned at the conference earlier this year.
Hey, just one, yes, thank you very much. One other question is, with all of this, do we have functional cameras, coastal cameras throughout the town?
We do.
And do we check them, inspect them on a fairly regular basis? And then I would also ask, where does it go back to? The police or the fire station?
Yeah, so I can respond a little bit.
Go ahead.
Okay. The town has several cameras in place now. They are actually they were installed by state police. I believe there's a federal grant in the background, and the police have a monitor running in their dispatch room. I also have access to the cameras as harbor master. Cameras are placed, one overlooking the town wharf, which can see Tudor Beach and Dorothy Beach as needed. There's a camera that looks along right over the tides that looks along Nahant Beach all the way down to Red Rock. There's a camera looking at Short Beach and out to Egg Rock. These are pan tilt zoom cameras, so we can adjust where they are looking. Have a lot of latitude there. There's also a camera overlooking Doggy Beach. That one is more of a fisheye camera. We don't have as much access to it. But we do have a good view of the beaches, and these are all also recording what's going on, so that we can access the recordings at any time to get a feel for, say, there was a period of large waves or something along those lines. We can access that very quickly.
Robbie, is it something that we should take and do on a semi-annual basis to inspect them to make sure?
They're actually managed by the state police. If they take care of all the software updates, they do the maintenance, and we have a quick dial access to them if we have a problem with one of the cameras. So it's not. I mean, they're not our cameras per se, which is nice. We don't own them. There's no expense to the town. Yeah, like I said, it's state police and Coast Guard, and I believe environmental police can all access these cameras.
Great, thanks. Excellent.
We also, Gene, over the last year or so, through emergency management, signed a contract with a company that will do drone flyover surveys for us at the beginning of every season, and then on call post storm events. And the technology that they use can actually survey and measure changes in material on our public beaches, which is extremely helpful to us if we need to report any damage claims or anything like that with FEMA for those emergency storms. So that's also new to the town. Started, I think, last year, maybe the year before.
Oh, right. That's excellent. That's really good.
Gene, if I can just, I want to reiterate what Tony said on the emergency management number, the 781-771-2121. We got that a few years ago. Tony got us the phone to alleviate some of the calls to the dispatch 911 and to the police station on non-emergency, non-police calls for service. And it's worked out great. A few weeks ago, when we had 52 houses without power, we monitored that for 24 hours to make sure that we were getting constant communication with National Grid, and also taking calls up here, which is right next to our EOC, so that we can respond to people immediately, and it doesn't tie up the dispatch at police or fire for that matter. So it's worked out great for us. And, again, that's going to be part of our communications plan. The chief has a place to get
Is that in the website?
It is
That
on the
number?
website. Yes, it is. Yep.
Great.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I was one of the lucky 52.
Oh, God. And you didn't call me, Gene.
Letting you have the night off.
Thank you. Oh, I was here.
Yeah.
I was here, but thank you for giving us this opportunity tonight. It's another first for us to present what we've been doing to the town, to the Board of Selectmen and the administrator. We're excited about it, and we appreciate the time and the support. It means a lot to us. It gives us, a little extra oomph in our game to know that we got all these people behind us, and it's something we're passionate about. So I want to just say thank you again to everybody.
I was hoping you would say that, because I was just going to say to you, this sounds like you guys have a passion for this, and you come out and said it, and that's great. Makes a big difference.
No, thank you. We do.
All right, good work. Thank you, guys. Unless you have anything else, we're gonna move on to the next part of the agenda. All right, go ahead.
Okay, new business, Gene?
Yeah, we were going to let Tony take over new business and outgoing business and town administrators report and everything at the bottom third.
All right, so the first item on new business is vote to approve the appointment of the treasurer collector for fiscal year 25. If Rob, you want to start with the motion?
I move that Edmund Locke be appointed treasurer collector for fiscal year 25.
And I'll second it.
All right, thank you. The discussion on this is our town charter stipulates that the treasurer collector position is a one-year term. You might remember that at town meeting this year, we had an article that passed to amend the town charter to extend that term from 1 to a 3-year term. However, the next step in that process is for it to be voted on by ballot at the next town election. That's standard for any charter change article. So until that is voted on and potentially approved, we're still restricted to this 1-year term. Ed is on the call tonight, and Ed's been doing a phenomenal job. He came on as treasurer collector a couple of years ago with no prior municipal experience, and he does. He's a machine, I would say. He does such a good job, and we're so happy to have him. He's bringing that office to modern, installing modern technology, modern software systems, modern programming, modern procedure. We're really bringing us up to modern day standards. So we still have a lot to do, but thank you and for the support of this appointment.
Let me also say, Tony, just our conversations suggest to me that Ed is a great team player, and that's what we need up there. You're a small group and you got a lot to do. So I think we all appreciate that too, Ed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed, my thanks to you as well.
Well, thanks everyone for your support. It's not just me up there. There's Wendolyn Espinoza, who's been fantastic. It's everyone, the staff at the town hall, other departments, DPW, police, fire, everybody else, library. The support has been overwhelming, and I do appreciate it. It's made my life a lot easier. So thank you to everyone.
Well said.
Well said. Further discussion? Hearing none. Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote.
Rob Tibbo, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
All right, motion passes. The next is vote to appoint temporary chairman of the planning board. We won't actually be taking up this vote tonight. Dan, I'll have you explain, what that process entails. Originally, we thought that we would have to take this vote up tonight. However, it seems like there's a 30-day waiting period stipulated by state law. So anyways, Dan, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, chapter 41, section 11, as well as the planning board's own rules and regulations, which cite that very chapter and section, give them basically a 30-day grace period to fix their own house. And it all was triggered by our failure to vote a chairman on June 18th, which was right about 30 days after town meeting, which is when that vote has to take place or before then. So a motion was made with 6 members attending, only 3 yeses were attained, which means it fell short of majority needed to pass that motion. So that's a failure to elect, which triggers section 11. So now the planning board has 30 days since that moment, which takes them until July 18th, to try to fix the problem, because now they essentially have no chairman. The only thing that the former sort of acting chairman can do is call a meeting to fix that one problem. That's it. Any other motion taken during that period is in jeopardy of being challenged because there is no elected chairman. So they have 30 days to basically fix that problem, or they alternatively put the Board of Selectmen on notice that they had a failure to elect a chairman, and they are asking for a joint meeting between the Selectmen and the Planning Board within a week of that notice to find someone who can fill into that position just until, and I make this very important, just until they elect their own chairman. So it's not a full year term, or in this case, that'll be an 11-month term. It's just an interim person to resolve, to basically make sure they can do their business until they elect their own chairman. So I asked this motion this agenda to be on the agenda. I was premature, so it can't be taken tonight. But unless the planning board fixes their own problem within the next few weeks, it will be taken up by this board and probably the remaining members of the planning board next meeting.
Thanks, Dan. Any questions, discussion? Anybody?
Yeah, I think we need to go with Dan's advice, and we'll step back until the planning board has a chance to make their adjustments.
Yeah, the last thing we want to do is interfere with their business. But if they need a chairman, they need to do business, and if they can't do it on their own, then we need to sort of step in and help them along. It's as simple as that.
I'm sure it'll get resolved.
I would be surprised if it didn't. It's my first time in 7-8 years as town council this has ever come up. So I think they'll be able to work it out.
Okay, moving along, Tony.
All right, the next is the fiscal year 25 master fee schedule. I'll share my screen in a moment. You'll be voting to approve the fiscal year 25 master fee schedule as presented. We have anything that's presented here are contractual changes. Everything else is essentially staying the same. We have had some discussions about making other changes to the fee schedule. However, we're not going to take those up tonight. Without Josh here, I'd like to wait till next meeting where we'll present those increases for consideration, have a discussion on them, likely offer up some form of comment period, and then vote on those changes at a future Board of Selectmen meeting. So what I'm sharing with you tonight is essentially the same fee schedule as we've had in this past year, with changes that are contractual. So if you can see this Excel spreadsheet, all these are all, this is their entire fee schedule.
Tony, could you explain contractual?
Right, so I will when I show you the changes here. Hold on a second. So here's Public Safety Department, so police detail rates, fire detail rates. These changes here in red, these are what's listed in the new contract. So we want to make sure that they are updated and consistent in the fee schedule.
Okay.
I think the other one, I'll come back to the contractual changes. Our water rate, our sewer rate, and our trash rates are not, will be changed at a future meeting. Our next billing cycle, I think, is September. So we have time to figure out what those rates are going to be, and we'll present those to you at a future meeting. So these are last year's rates, but they will change before the next billing cycle in September. And then the other is lobster trap storage. That goes up $25 a year. It maxes at $500. It actually runs from September to August, and that is per the terms of those lease agreements. And those are the only changes that we're including in this document tonight with your vote. And as I said, we'll revisit the fee schedule and other changes at the next selectmen meeting.
Would you mind making a suggested motion?
Yeah, the suggested motion would be I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the fiscal year 25 master fee schedule as presented by the town administrator.
So moved.
Seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. Motion's been made, seconded. Roll call vote.
Rob Tibble, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
Okay, ongoing business. Coast Guard housing update. Let me see. So first, I'll give you a brief status update of the broker RFP process. So folks might remember that we put an RFP out for, an RFP out for marketing proposals from real estate broker firms. We received 5 proposals. Those proposals were then sent to Dan Script, Town Council, for redaction. Once redacted, the non-price proposals were forwarded to the review team, which consists of Allison Nieto, our finance director, Josh Antrim, select board member, and Dave Conlon, town moderator. The members of the review team review the non-price proposals and score them according to a scorecard that was listed in the RFP. Once that's completed, we'll meet as a group and open the price proposals, and then review the scorecards and the price proposals to make a recommendation if there will be one. so far I've received, I've received two of the scorecards from two of the members of the review team, and I expect the third by the end of this week. And then as far as, I don't think we have anything new to report on the litigation side regarding the three remaining residents or tenants, unless Dan, you have anything new to report? You're shaking it.
Yes, so there's just nothing new to report. We have a trial set for July 10th and a hearing for July 11th, which poses a bit of a conflict. So we'll deal with that with the court, but we're on for July 11th regarding I think 8 Goddard. I might have the wrong number. And then across the street, we have a hearing on the 11th. And in terms of the Castle Road property, the settlement is ongoing. We expect them to be gone by August 1st.
Thank you, Dan.
I also I reached out to our contractors who Axiom and American Environmental, those are the two contractors we worked with for the demolition and cleanup of the oil tanks. And they're both still under contract. So they're going to send me proposals as a change order to do the same project on the Castle Road property as soon as the tenants vacate that property. So hopefully that will be in August.
Okay.
That's my update on that. Do you want me to run through this, Gene, or do you want to call out the items on the agenda?
No, go ahead, run through it if you would.
Okay, so next item on the ongoing business is deliberate on draft of short-term rental regulations to prepare for public comment period. I spoke with Selectman Thibault earlier today. I don't know, Rob, if you want to jump in.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
not being, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, Gene, I would like to postpone any deliberation on this until the next meeting when we have all 3 members present.
Robbie, it's Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, my apologies.
Yeah, I think I talked with Tony as well, and it's probably best that we do that. You agree?
Absolutely, yes. Next meeting.
But we do have, for folks out there, we do have a very solid draft of the regulations, which have been distributed to the 3 select board members. And I know we've had conversations internally with council and inspectional services, and I've had conversations with each of the members. So, we have made a lot of progress, and hopefully we are, we're in the final stretch here. But obviously we have some more work to do. I just want to make sure people understood we have been we've made a lot of progress on those regs so far.
Okay. We have nothing on preserving East Point, I don't believe. Dan?
Well, before that, there was the housing production plan status update and next steps.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
So at the last select board meeting, the board asked me to send an email to the planning board to request them to, or invite them to a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen to talk about the housing production plan, and asked for them to put together their concerns with the latest draft of the plan. We haven't heard back from them on that yet, and I know they discussed it at their meeting, but we haven't received any type of formal response from the board yet. We also had a number of information requests that came in regarding the housing production plan. We've tried to add information onto the website. Under the housing production plan page on the website, there's a number of new information that's been uploaded there. I encourage folks to take a look at it. All 4 drafts of the plan are now uploaded. Comments that were received through public processes uploaded, and would encourage folks to, if they review the latest draft and they have comments on that, to send them to the Board of Selectmen, and can CC me and Kristen on those as well.
Tony, once the planning board is reorganized and back into this, I guess 2 questions. One, what's the timeline or the anticipated timeline from the state in getting this resolved, not resolved, but approved? And what's the timeline, secondly, overall, to get this done?
So there is no due date on the plan submitted to the state. So there's no timeline, so to speak, from the state saying you must get this plan to us by X date. We do have a timeline of a contract with MAPC, who's been helping us through this process. And then there's, the information in the plan, will date itself the longer, this carries on for. So like there's information there. For example, there's, 2023 data in there. And, soon you could probably be updating that to 2024 data. So there's certain, there's a, I guess I would say the desire is to kind of close the process up with current data and current information. However, per the regulations of the state, the town cannot submit the plan to the state without a vote of the planning board and a vote of the Board of Selectmen. So it essentially sits on the plate of each board at the moment. And I think the next step really is, I think, for if the Board of Selectmen or the planning board have any comments or changes that they desire for the plan, to organize those and consider them. But there isn't, back to your original question, there isn't a due date for when the plan needs to be submitted to the state.
Okay. The work that the subcommittee did, does that now get passed along to the planning board for their input and then on to the 2 of us for a vote?
Right. So
I'm just asking some questions that have been asked of me.
Sure. Yeah. So the process, as I understand it, is the subcommittee work with the consultants to host public meetings and draft the plan. They had a few comment periods, made changes to the plan, and eventually what they do is they pass it to the planning board and the Board of Selectmen for review and vote prior to being submitted to the state. That's the stage that it's in right now.
Okay.
So, that doesn't mean that, I guess it kind of means that the subcommittee's process is done. However, the public can still provide comment. They would just be doing it to the Board of Selectmen and to the planning board instead of to the subcommittee.
And when that happens, changes can be made?
Right. The Board of Selectmen and the planning board have the ability to make changes to the plan.
Okay, thank you. Robbie?
So I think, Gene, that we need to set this aside also, until we, hear from the planning board.
Good thinking.
Mr.
I
Chairman.
agree. I agree. Okay, so next we'll move along to the preserving East Point, which, as I said, Dan, do you have anything on that?
No, I know of no decisions that's come down. I think we're in the period where our attorneys are preparing a response to Northeastern's demand for damages. I think we have until, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, like somewhere in the middle of July to respond to that. So I think we're in that period right now.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Town administrators report.
Thank you. 4th of July, event details, road closures, and parking bans. All this information will be presented on the website. We'll post it out through social media. We'll likely do at least one, maybe two code red calls prior to early next week. On the 3rd of July, there's going to be, hold on one second, the Horribles Parade, which is at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Registration will begin at 5 p.m. and the parade will start at 5:30. The parade starts at Spring Road basketball courts and they march to the Flash Road Park. Participants can dress up in a costume or 4th of July garb, decorate bright bikes, scooters, strollers, etc. So please, if you're interested, consider joining in on the Horribles Parade on July 3rd at 5 o'clock at Spring Road Basketball Court. On the 4th of July, in the morning of the 4th at 7:30 a.m. is the Tortoise and the Hare Road Race, annual Tortoise and the Hare Road Race. Registration begins at 7:30 a.m. and the race begins at 8 a.m. in front of the fire station on Flash Road. There's a 3-mile race and a 1-mile kids race. Route maps can be found on the website. If you go to the community calendar and click on the Tortoise and the Hare Road Race, there are links to show you the route maps of those two races. Also on the 4th of July in the morning at 10 a.m. at the Flash Road Park are the youth field races behind the fire station on the soccer field. There's 3-legged race, 50-yard dash, egg toss, and more. Prizes will be handed out. So that's at 10 a.m. And then on later in that day, starting around 5 p.m. is our wharf party and fireworks show. So at our live band, Mojo Slim, will start playing at 6 p.m. Though I'm sure there'll be some music a little bit earlier than that, but live music will start at 6 p.m. There'll be a food truck selling sausages, hamburgers, hot dogs, and slush. There'll be fireworks will be shot off from Bailey's Hill at approximately 8:30 or 9 p.m. And I believe we'll also have a vendor selling light up glow sticks, things like that for kids. We will have a number of road closures, parking restrictions, and things of that nature. I'm going to share my screen. One moment. Again, this information will be posted online. It's all very similar. It's almost identical, I think, to what we've done last year. So there'll be reserved handicap parking at Mitchell's Corner, and there'll be reserved handicap parking at the intersection of Wharf and Willow. Willow Road from Emerald to the dead end of the golf course will be closed to all vehicular traffic starting at 6 p.m. That's residents and non-residents. All vehicular traffic will be closed starting at 6 p.m. Sorry, it says July 8th on July 4th. All the roads in red here are going to be closed to vehicular traffic starting at 7 p.m. So from Pond Street to Ocean on Emerald, White Way, bottom of Pond, Valley Road, Ocean Street, Intervale, Willow Road, Winter Street, Summer Street, all that will start at 7 p.m. There won't be any vehicular traffic. Starting at 5 p.m., the bottom of Summer Street, Willow Road to Wharf, that area will close because the band will start playing and people will start gathering in that area. And then the Wharf parking lot and ramp will be closed at noon so that the band can set up, the vendors can get in there, and the place can be cleaned up. So for the most part, vehicular traffic stops at 7 p.m. unless you're talking about the lower end of Willow, which starts at 6, or the lower end of Summer, which starts at 5. As usual, at Bass Point turns into a one-way starting at 7 p.m. This is to allow for parking on one side of the road, and there'll be no pedestrian access in the Bailey's Hill area. That area has to shut down as soon as the fireworks come into town. As far as parking goes, you'll be able to park on these roads during the day, but at 6 p.m., all cars need to be removed. So on Willow Road, Summer, Winter, Ocean, and the side streets there listed in red, all cars will need to be removed by 6 p.m. Here's the handicap parking available at Mitchell's Corner and handicap parking available at the corner of Willow and Wharf. And Chief Furlong, are you still on the call?
Yes, we're here.
All right. Did you want to? We had a prep meeting earlier this week, as we do leading up to this event. Is there anything else you want to share?
No, you just about covered all the parking restrictions. Some people might ask why we're doing it that way. We have a large amount of people in a small area. If we have to get assets such as fire trucks, ambulances, or other outside responding police departments, we need clear roadways. We can't have obstructions, and we got to be able to get anything down there in and out as quickly as possible.
All right, thank you. So hopefully we have excellent weather. Hope to see everybody there. All the preparations are in place for a wonderful, successful week and a great July 3rd and 4th. So, Chief, also on my town administrator report is talk about summer traffic and parking issues. We obviously experienced, like many coastal communities, a significant number of visitors last week with the high temperatures. I thought you guys did a great job at managing that. But I'll pass it to you if you have anything else you want to share.
The only thing I would share is the flock camera, the sheer amount of cars that came into town last Wednesday. Mind you, it was a holiday. It was hot. We just got inundated. So in comparison to yesterday, last Wednesday, the traffic doubled coming into town. That doesn't include the vehicles that were turned around at Long Beach and sent out of town because the lot was full. But we had about 13,000 vehicles come into town. That's double what we had yesterday. So we're dealing with a large amount of vehicles. There were a number of parking tickets, a lot of cars that were towed. The state police were out there helping us with traffic. As you said, other coastal communities just got slammed. We did have extra people on. I could have had 50 cops on. It might not have helped anything, but we did the best we could. And I appreciate the support, Tony, but it was a busy day. I'll say that. And the guys that were out there sweating, they were out in the sun wearing their full duty belts and bulletproof vests. They earned their keep that day. I can tell you that much.
Thank you, Chief. Board, do you have any questions or comments?
No, yeah, I do. I would say the same. I'd parrot exactly what you said in terms of how well it was handled with a short staff and a surprise visit by 13,000 vehicles. But the only area that surprised me was down by the Lynn Rotary, where there were no, and it's not our responsibility, there were no state troopers down there at that time. And I called you, Tony, and Tony, you called, you spoke with the chief, and the chief, apparently, Chief, you spoke with the state because they had people over there on my return visit doing the traffic.
Yeah, we called over to the Revere Barracks, and they were very gracious enough to send over help. But again, we were just so inundated. Even Lynch Shore Drive was jammed up. It hardly made a difference. But yeah, they did send assets over to help out.
Well, thanks for the response. It's great.
Thank you,
Robbie.
Chief, I'm absolutely amazed by the numbers that you just tossed out a few minutes ago. 13,000 vehicles versus, I think you said 6,000 on a normal day. I think that type of information, keeping that available to the general public, is extremely important so that everyone can appreciate what you folks are dealing with. We obviously we go through our day, we see a couple of cars being ticketed, a couple of cars being towed, but it always seems like cars are not being moved along as quickly as most people would like. But when you think about the scale of what you just described, and the size of the department that you're managing, I'm even more impressed now than ever. So, whenever you get that type of statistic, please share. I think it really stands proud for everything that you guys are doing.
I appreciate that. And just to add, during the day shift, we dealt with an unattended death. We had an officer that was tied up for a lengthy period of time, as well as a B&E to a business where we had to hold a scene, wait for the state police crime scene to come out. So it was a very busy day, and I appreciate the support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you to the entire department. Please, they do such a good job, and thank you for mentioning that. The fact that it was extremely hot that day, and they're dealing with a lot of people, and definitely earned their keep that day. So thank them for us, and appreciate the work that they do, and the work that they have in front of them for this summer. I'm sure we're gonna experience a lot of that moving forward. I did there was some email traffic that came in regarding the parking lot at the life-saving station. I just want to reiterate that parking for Short Beach is on Ward Road and in the Lowlands parking lot. That the parking lot at the life-saving station is not for beach parking. So please keep that in mind when you're visiting the beach. Next on my list is Ward Road Pump Station update. If you've driven down Nahant Road and looked beyond the Lowland softball field, in the distance, you'll see a missing building. At the last Board of Selectmen meeting, we had a great presentation from our engineer. The exterior building has been removed at this point, and I believe they finished that work or are finishing all of that work this week. In the next 2 weeks following the 4th of July, they're going to start mobilizing or start to begin the process of reconstructing that building. So things are moving pretty fast, and going back to the emergency management, presentation earlier, that station is one of our most critical assets. And it sits in one of the most vulnerable areas of town to flooding. And the new building will be brought up to 100-year storm standards. So with this new building, we are that asset will be improved. It will be more resilient to flooding and storm surge. National Grid planned power outage July 9th. National Grid reached out to the town. They have a project that they have to do at the substation. And in order to do it, they have to shut down power to the entire town. Their concern is that if they don't fix this issue on a scheduled basis and would have to fix it in an emergency, it would be a 24-hour job versus if they do it before it breaks or before there's any issue, it's an 8-hour job. So they came to us to see if they could schedule a time to shut power down and make that repair. We reached out, obviously to our department, fire department, DPW, police department. We also reached out to businesses in town and the Jesmond Nursing Home to try to figure out our best option. And a Tuesday night seemed to be the best option for the town for what we have going on here in town. So we picked July 9th, which is 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The power would be shut down. And then there's a rain and heat date of July 16th. So if we're expecting high levels of rain or above 90-degree heat, it'll get bumped out until the following Tuesday, and so on and so forth. Again, we'll make sure that there is a code red put out so everyone is aware. National Grid's required to notify their customers of a planned power outage. And unless anything changes, we're expecting that to occur on July 9th at 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then lastly, it's not on my list here, but Gene, you mentioned it earlier, Doggy Beach, aka Black Rock Beach, is closed for swimming. We've sent the retest out and we'll probably hear tomorrow. So there's flags at the beach indicating that it's closed. We posted it on social media. And then also last year, I'll share my screen one more time. Last year, at the end of the year, we incorporated on the right-hand side of the website this box of beach water quality status and a date of every time it's updated. So every time, if you're going to the beach, if you want to know before you head there, whether it's open or closed, you just go to nahant.org and it's right here on the right side with additional information. And you will know, okay, this was updated today on the 26th. And this box floats almost on every page on the website. So if you click on other pages, the box stays there. So it's prominent. And we also have it along the top bar of the website as well, as you can see in red.
That's a great ad. That's awesome. Okay. Anything, Robbie?
Nothing from me, Gene. We go to a citizens forum.
I think we do. Tony, what do we have out there?
If you want to participate in Citizens Forum, you can raise your hand. You can unmute yourself. Just state your name and address before you make your comment or ask your question.
Anything?
I think Ken, hold on, ask Ken.
Yep.
You.
Hey, Tony. Just a quick question, going back to the RFPs for the sale of the Coast Guard housing. Could you remind us, please, who is on the selection committee to review those proposals?
Yes, it's Allison Nieto, our finance director, Josh Antrim, the chair of the board, and Dave Conlon, the town moderator.
Who has effectively resigned, right?
No, he's still the town moderator. He did
Okay.
announce he wouldn't be, he
He
did
wouldn't-
announce at town meeting he wouldn't be running for re-election next year.
Okay, so he's still in place as it stands. Okay,
Yeah, those aren't, there's no, it's not like you have to have the moderator on the review team. That was someone who we selected as an
Mhm.
independent party. And then, as I mentioned earlier, all those proposals were sent to town council before they were sent to the review committee for redaction of any identifying information, so that the review committee could score them, without bias, because we expected local realtors to be submitting proposals.
okay. All right, thank you. That answers the question.
Welcome.
Anything, anyone, anybody? How do we look, Tony?
I don't see anyone else with their hand up or unmuting.
Is there
Okay.
any need to adjourn to executive session tonight?
I don't, without Josh being here, I put the executive session on the agenda, expecting that we would be moving into executive session, but without Josh, I think we can postpone that.
And there's nothing regarding Coast Guard housing that needs to be discussed, so we're good.
Sounds good to me.
Motion for adjournment,
So moved.
seconded. Discussion, no further discussion. Roll call vote.
Rob Tibble, aye.
Gene Canty, aye.
Have a great 4th, everyone.
Good night, gentlemen.
Thank you all.